Hello and welcome to Springtime in South Korea. The following clips are shot in Seoul, Suwon and Bundang, and after these clips we're going to jump into some photo editing. Enjoy. Okay, so this is the image that we're working with, and I'm going to jump straight into the developing tool to get started. As you can see, the bottom portion of my image is very shadowed. The people here on the bench shadowed underneath this tree. One way for me to obviously bring out the shadows and make them visible is to bring up the shadow slider. However, once I do so, I then lose contrast in the rest of my image, it becomes flat, not to mention that it doesn't look all that natural. So a great way to get around that will be to apply a mask, and I'll do that after I've made the rest of the image look great. So I won't worry about it for now. But I hope you enjoyed the clips from the weekend. It was a great weekend for weather and shooting, and last year we didn't get too much of a blossom season. It rained almost immediately, so we lost all of the cherry blossoms, but this year certainly made up for it. And this particular shot was taken around Jamsil at Sokchon Lake. It's one of the most popular spots for cherry blossoms in all of Seoul, but that means as well that there's thousands of people there trying to see all the blossoms. So I was there on the Friday afternoon, and after seeing how busy it is, I quickly decided to move to the satellite cities around Seoul, so I wouldn't struggle for shots. When you've got thousands of people all around you, it's pretty difficult. So I've just applied a linear gradient there. And the reason I'm applying a linear gradient is because it's a big area that I need to affect, but it will also allow me to blend in my edits with the rest of the image, not make it look too jarring. So I can now bring up the exposure and the shadows. And then that's looking good. It's looking much more natural. And let's see it before and after. Yep, that's great. I'm also noticing that my sky doesn't look too good, so I'm going to go down to the Enhance tool and boost up the sky enhancer. You can see that's only affecting the sky, nowhere else in the image. Very smart tool. Highly recommend using it. And I think now we're ready to jump onto the color grading, and so first of all, we'll go to the color harmony tool. I'm thinking to apply cooler tones to the shadows and warmer tones to the highlights. that's the plan in my mind. So let's see how that goes. So we'll start off by working with the shadows. I don't think I'm going to work with the midtones. And the reason being is that, well, I'll show you. You can see it almost looks like I'm applying a filter to the image as a whole. And that can be one of the tricky things about working with midtones. So I don't often use them in this sense. And then I'm going to apply warmer tones. So lean more towards the red, lean more towards the yellows. And there we go, that's looking good. Let's see before and after so far. So we're getting there. And then I'm going to make sure my warmer tones lean more towards orange hues and my blues more to my cooler tones more towards blue hues. That's looking great. And then maybe a slight bit of color contrast. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, there we go. So the color grading is going well so far. We want to just fine tune it ever so slightly. I'm going to use the color tool now. And I'm going to first work on my blues, especially like, you know, the lake here. I want to make it look really inviting, like you could jump into it. So let's make the blues look really nice. Work on the hues first and then the saturation. Not too much. And the same with the luminance, applying that just enough that it looks great. There we go. And then let's do the highlights. And so we want to apply some warmer tones to the highlights. That's going to be in the blossoms here, but we'll need to keep an eye on the rest of the image. So let's take a look. So by using the orange slider, and this is what I'll often do, I'll just pick a slider and go from extreme to extreme to see which portions of the image are being affected. And you can see that the blossoms are being affected, which is great. But also at the bottom here, these guys are also being affected, skin tones and the coat there. So that's not looking good. So one way for us to get around this is to apply a mask again. So first of all, I'll apply some warmer tones and concentrate just on this bottom portion of the image before we apply that mask. Like so. And let's just try a hue shift as well. Yeah, that's nice. I'm going to close this and then open it up again. So we're now working with a fresh color tool, and I'm going to go to linear gradient and bring that down. Now it's only going to be affecting the top portion of my image. Go into adjustments, back to hue, and let's just move this orange slider across and make these blossoms look warmer. It's got more of a pinky tone as well, which is great. I think that looks very good. Like so, yep. And leave it at that. Now, I think I want to go back to the bottom portion of this image. I think it's still a little bit too dark, so I'm going to apply one more mask. Bring out that exposure. Let me just check the temperature as well. Yeah, that looks like it's blended in a bit better. Let's have a look at before and after. There we go. And then I'm going to crop in because there's yellow tape that was in front of these benches. So let's get rid of that. We don't want that in our shot. And there we go. So if it's spring where you are and you've gone out and taken some photos of the cherry blossoms, you can share those with us if you like. You can do so using the hashtag madewithluminar. And I'll be back again with some more Luminar Neo tips, tricks, and tutorials. So I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.